Everybody, today I'd like to take a look at the controversial dime issue and some of its implications. On February 29, 2012, Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke appeared before the House Financial Services Committee. And guess who was there to greet him?
But I do want to make a point about prices, because prices go up. That, to me, is not the inflation. It is one of the bad consequences of the inflation, which comes from the increase in the money supply, and that's one of the bad effects. But, you know, you took over the Fed in 2006. I have a silver ounce here. And this ounce of silver back in 2006 would buy over 4 gallons of gasoline. Today it'll buy almost 11 gallons of gasoline. That's preservation of value.
Is the U.S. dollar really doing that poorly against silver, as Ron Paul indicated? In 2006, could you buy over 4 gallons of gas with 1 silver ounce? Or in 2012, could you buy almost 11 gallons of gas with 1 silver ounce? Or, to put the matter a different way, which Dr. Paul has frequently done, could you buy 1 gallon of gas with 1 silver dime? Doesn't seem possible, or it didn't to me. I decided to do a little digging, and here's what I came up with. Hang on. Ron Paul has said a silver dime would buy a gallon of gas today. Is this really true? In 2006, the year Ben Bernanke became Fed chairman, a gallon of gas averaged around $2.50. By February 29, 2012, gas had risen to $3.68 on average. Another way of looking at it is to say a dollar went from buying less than a half gallon of gas to buying around a quarter gallon of gas. So much for fiat dollars. Now let's look at silver. The price of an ounce of silver in 2006 averaged $11.55. On February 29, 2012, the London Silver Fix was $38.22. Given these prices, an ounce of silver in 2006 would have bought a little over 4.5 gallons of gas. By February 29, 2012, an ounce would have purchased over 10 gallons of gas. What does this mean in everyday life? It means you could drive your family from Atlanta to Orlando, a 440-mile trip on the expressway, while spending only 2 silver dollars on gas. So, no contest. Silver is a far better money than the government's fiat currency. Once again, Ron Paul is on the money. But the government forbids competition in currency. Where does it get this authority? From laws it has passed. Where does it get the authority to pass such laws? Presumably out of thin air, because the Constitution does not grant the government the exclusive power to create money. In its defense, governments have claimed that private mints cannot possibly be trusted to create coins. But as economist George Selgin has pointed out, if this were true, governments could easily outcompete their private industry rivals, so there'd be no need to outlaw them, except in cases of counterfeiting. During the California gold rush that began in 1849, at least 15 private mints emerged to coin money, sparing prospectors the need to send their diggings to the U.S. mints in Philadelphia or New Orleans. The private mints whose coins had a lower bullion value than their face value went out of business, while the survivors made coins of such high quality that they withstood the competition of the San Francisco branch of the U.S. Mint that opened in 1854. Between 1860 and 1862, the firm of Clark Gruber and Company manufactured their own coins at their mint in Denver, Colorado. The coins met or exceeded the bullion value of similar U.S. coins, and in a period of less than 2 years, Clark Gruber minted approximately $3 million worth of coin. The mint was so good, in fact, that to get rid of them, the government bought them out in 1863 for $25,000. Congress outlawed all private mints in the Coinage Act of 1864. Since then, we have moved from a system of competing coinage to a government-created banking cartel that monopolizes the issuance of currency. Congress has enacted legal tender laws to force acceptance of the cartel's currency, even though, as we well know, it is plunging in value. In its simplest form, Gresham's law states that bad money drives out good money. Taken at face value, that's a very misleading statement because it's only legal tender laws that make Gresham's law possible. When people have a choice in currency, Gresham's law ceases to apply. People choose sound money and bad money disappears. In protecting debased currency, legal tender laws institutionalize inflation to the advantage of government and the banking system. Today, anyone attempting to compete with the government's inflated currency could be considered a domestic terrorist, as Liberty Dollar creator Bernard von Nothaus has discovered. Nowhere does the U.S. Constitution authorize the use of paper money, and in fact states unequivocally that only gold and silver coins shall be used as tender in the payment of debts. Nor does the Constitution grant Congress the exclusive power to create money. But since the government claims the exclusive power to interpret its own laws, private citizens who attempt to compete with it become terrorists. You might ask yourself who has instilled more terror in Americans, Bernard von Nothaus with his value-preserving silver Liberty Dollar, or Man of the Year Ben Bernanke with his highly inflatable fiat currency. The Fed will continue to inflate the currency the government forces us to use. Why should it stop? Inflation helps pay the government's mind-boggling bills, and it buys votes to keep the racket going. One way to protect your wealth from being transferred to politicians' pockets is by hoarding commodities, particularly gold and silver. Another way is to vote for candidates who will work to end the Fed and the government's money monopoly. In the 2012 presidential race, only one candidate is working for fundamental monetary reform or even considers it an issue, and that man is Ron Paul. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. See you soon.